Okay, so Twitter suspensions and Twitter bans are back. I know because I was suspended, but now I'm back. So it all started with Visegrad24. And we have here Marion Nofal asking why was this account suspended. Now, we know Visegrad24 is a massive account, has more than 24 million followers, and they frequently post stuff from war-torn regions and stuff that aren't always pleasant to look at, and stuff that are, you could say, violent. Just an example, they frequently talk about terrorism. They talked about now the terrorist hits in Dagestan, and they also had an image that that is now called the infamous image. So this person says here, loved and hated by many, Visegrad is a leading Polish-based account covering the wars in Gaza and Ukraine. And they got suspended. And Elon Musk here is giving us the reason why that account was suspended. I'm not going to read it out loud because we are going to have trouble, but they circulated a picture of a punishment that the Taliban inflicted upon an underage kid, and they retweeted it. And Visegrad24 is a massive account. A lot of people are retweeting it, especially people who are interested in terrorism, and they want to make their audience aware of terrorist practices. So Elon Musk says here that what they did triggered an automatic child exploitation suspension, which I can understand. Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who did engage with it could have sort of been suspended as a matter of collateral damage, sort of algorithmic thing or something. But this doesn't explain everyone who was suspended. I, for instance, was suspended. I had nothing to do with that tweet. I follow Visegrad24, but I did not engage with that tweet. I didn't even press the like button, let alone retweet it or quote tweet it. Many more people were banned. My guess is that the common denominator is that they are anti-woke. That's the common denominator.
Yeah, this is kind of concerning because there have been some creeping cases of left-wing regressive tolerance, if you will, of it being solely focused on the right. All of the accounts that have been suspended have been right-wing, and Elon Musk was supposed to be, fixing this sort of thing. It was meant to be a free speech platform, and yet we're getting these one-sided bans all over again, which is quite concerning because, of course, Twitter has actually become quite the safe haven for political commentary these days, and I've actually been quite enjoying it.
Yeah,
which is rare.
The issue is, though, that the people that were there pre Elon Musk are still in place, and so yes, they might want to take the wage and they might want to keep going. And did they do this just at the right time to ban other people with this big account, underneath the radar? It is concerning because, of course, we now expect that free speech on Twitter.
Yeah, it's been nice pressing post and not having to think, that's going to get me a ban. Is that going to get me a ban? It's nice. It's felt good. So, but you're absolutely right. It does always seem to be the accounts on the right that tend to get axed. So,
and it's very arbitrary because for every person who gets suspended, you can find 10 other accounts that post way more weird stuff.
Definitely.
Let me say it this way. So David Atherton also was suspended and he's reinstated just like Visegrad24. And he's saying that there's a mass reporting of accounts that dare to tell the truth. And he's thanking about Elon Musk for reinstating him.
But David's got quite a large account as well. You'd think that there'd be more checks and balances in place for people with a following. I mean, he appears on things like Talk TV, for example, and our show. And so, he's not nobody. He does the media circuit. You could describe him as a journalist, and in shutting down his account, that is shutting down his free speech.
Yes, he has a big account as well. He has around 200,000 followers.
Yep.
And he was also suspended last night.
It's great content as well from David. It's always great content. It's always factual and, and it's constant. So, to try and take him down and be on notice, it's never going to happen, is it?
No.
So now I want to say that I am absolutely grateful for the support of my friends, colleagues, and all of the followers who made a fuss about it.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much. I'm really grateful and honored by your reaction. Thank you. And Carl here is defending me, and he is asking, why was I banned? He did not like, comment, or share it, meaning the infamous Visegrad 24 tweet. So this isn't the only thing that happened. A lot of thousands of accounts have been suspended. And if you see here, I'll just scroll down. A lot of people were reporting losing thousands of followers.
Yeah.
Just
I did,
overnight,
yeah.
thousands of followers.
I lost about 150. It really hurt. You know, that's a big chunk for me.
I'm not sure if it's from me sharing your, the free Stelios post.
Yeah.
But I sort of gained it all back again. So,
Yeah.
you took a fall so the rest of us could, live.
Grow.
Yeah.
It's like Gandalf the Grey. Came back
Bring the
like
hobbits
Gandalf
into
the
it a
White.
bit.
Yeah, although I have a grey.
Yeah, where's your white jacket?
Yeah, I should have. So we have here, if we scroll down, people talking about losing thousands of followers. 5,000 here. We have Godsard asking why he lost more than 3,000 followers in a second. Carl also lost about 1,000 followers.
Mhm.
I saw this.
Yeah.
I am a numbers person. I really like watching the numbers.
Yeah.
And I had an idea of a
Well,
lot
that's
of
not that many for Carl, really, is it?
But your loss was my gain. I actually increased tonight.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm doing something awfully wrong.
It was you all along, wasn't it?
Again, we have, if you see that page and we have the link, we have accounts talking about losing hundreds to thousands of followers. We have multiple large accounts reporting thousands, 3,000 to 5,000 followers
This
getting
isn't
suspended.
just a matter of vanity, is it? It's important for other reasons, right?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's just reach.
Mm-hmm.
It's also your right to exercise free speech.
Yeah.
And it's also the right to exercise and your, let's say, abilities,
Yeah.
your linguistic abilities to engage in public discussion.
I did notice that of the accounts I did recognise, a lot of them were right-leaning as well.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, isn't it?
I think this is the common denominator, because you have a lot of accounts, or not necessarily right-wing. That's the question, whether you could say right-leaning right now, because it's 2024 and it is the 27th of June. I'm just saying for context.
It's the current year, yes.
It's the current year. So, for instance, a lot of gender-critical feminists were suspended.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't normally consider them right-wing, or
J.K.
But they're
Rowling.
sort of enemies of the ascendant
The enemies
faction
of
of the
the
left.
state.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes. So right now, especially when the T became prominent, they started approaching conservatives and other classical liberals and talking about their plight. And they right now they may be seen as enemies of the progressive agenda.
Yeah.
And yet, you've got David Tennant actually saying that Kemi Badenoch shouldn't exist. That is an appalling utterance from a lefty. But the Linekers of this world never get suspended. They just get helped.
Nothing happens. Yeah.
And
Well, it's like the policing system, isn't it? It's very much a clear double standard.
Absolutely undeniable.
Yeah. And it isn't just an issue of losing following, it's also losing engagement. Here I have Frank J. McCormick, who says the conservative account suppressions and suspensions on X may not be Elon's fault, but they are his responsibility. Like many of you, despite higher engagement, my impressions and likes are lower than when I had a third of my current followers. I just want to know why. So it's also an issue of engagement. It isn't...
Yeah.
So shadow bans.
Yeah, I think it is possible, because I've not necessarily had that effect, but I imagine if it is a shadow ban, it's going to affects certain people specifically, right?
Yeah.
So if certain people are having these massive drops in engagement, or at least it's not growing in a way that is linear, then you can presume that there are these shadow bans still carrying on, which I thought were being dealt with by Elon. I think he was intending to get rid of them altogether.
I suffered that from. I can't even remember the tweet, but the tweet went absolutely viral. And as you expect, you expect things to go up. Didn't go up. Didn't go up. Didn't go up. And it was, and yet, and Dan's was going up. Was it the TR thing?
Possibly.
Yeah, I know that. The retweet, you were going up and mine was just flat.
Yeah.
And you think something's happening, but you obviously you don't know what.
Yeah. Well, the shadow bans are quite common as well, aren't they? So, your account wouldn't be promoted unless I went on and searched for you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see you in my feed.
Yeah.
And that's the type of things. But we've seen, I've seen drops of numbers over the couple of years, for example, but never this scale. Yeah. And I've always put it down to dead accounts, bots, things like that, where when you see 50 have dropped off or something, and say, strange if 50 went at once, but apparently it's a cull in the dead accounts. But this is something else. This is absolutely something else.
Yes. So I was just sent a message, like thousands of other people, that I just violated the rules. I wasn't told how. And I wasn't given any kind of deadline to say, for instance, that you have 12 hours to delete that tweet or something. I appealed it 3 times. I just got the same message back in response, an automatic response. And here, John Wong, he tweeted about it. He said, my esteemed friend, thank you, John, has been suspended, and he is talking about it. And he also circulated the photo. This was the photo I was sent.
Right.
So nothing else.
Maybe
this account won't be restored. That's what I was told.
Oh, that's weird.
Also, thank you very much to the people here at Lotus Eaters who circulated this. We also had a Free Stelios campaign that Josh kickstarted.
I didn't kickstart it.
Hashtag Free Stelios.
No, it was our social media manager did this post first. I'm not taking any credit.
Okay.
But it did very well, didn't it? It circulated.
Yes, it
quite
did.
a lot.
I think that without this, I would be still suspended. And this is also a thing that should be taken into account by the people at Twitter and by Elon Musk, who is actually making Twitter better than it used to be. And I think he's doing a great job here. That a lot of accounts are being suspended because they're massively reported without actually having done something that is ban-worthy. And they didn't have the fortune that I had.
Yeah.
There's lots of anti-philosophy people out there reporting you for sharing wisdom on Twitter for free.
Yes. And I want to say also to show you that it isn't just conservatives, classical liberals, and those who just interacted with a Visegrad 24 tweet. It's far more widespread, and it also covers gender-critical feminists, you could say. We have here Caroline Farrow talking about the family trust education. Wait, sorry, I will rephrase. The Family Education Trust, and they were suspended. And let me just show you what their profile looks like, which doesn't seem to me to be ban-worthy. I think there's no reason to suspend it. They say the UK's National Research Institute investigating and informing public discourse on issues affecting the flourishing of the family.
See, that's the word. Family. It's very, very dangerous in the People's Republic of South Wales. Oh, Wales. You don't want that. The state is the mummy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have a very maternalistic state across the West now. Everyone's just supposed to be a nanny state.
Yeah.
But they have retweeted J.K. Rowling. And they have also made claims about people who were shadow banned, that if you follow, you will see that very frequently they post gender critical stuff. Yeah. And also you could say they post stuff about the current wars that are going on. So it is not just the people who interacted with the Visegrad 24 tweet. There are thousands of people who are basically anti-woke. And you have here James Lindsay being right on this one. He says the common thing that they do is that they criticize woke tyranny. So that's the enemy.
Yeah.
that's the enemy as far as
Yeah,
the progressivists are
and
concerned.
you only have to see J.K. Rowling's. She was a socialist, and suddenly she stepped out of line, and that was it.
How quick they turn.
They cut the legs off,
Yes.
and she's now a non-person.
I really liked the example of before and after she expressed her gender critical views, and the articles on Pink News, the puff piece after puff piece written about her, praising her, saying how wonderful she is, how she's an icon. Then all of a sudden, she is the devil incarnate.
They've done the same, didn't they, with, a little bit off topic, but Ukraine, not so long before, they were putting about the far right problems in Ukraine. A couple of years later,
Corruption
they're the best
as
people in the
well,
world. Yeah, so it's funny how the media can just switch their tune and go unchallenged.
So basically now a lot of people are asking what happened, and it's not exactly certain what happened. Some people were suspended automatically because they interacted with a Visegrad 24 tweet. Others are talking about a bot purge. And it was also suggested to me that my account may have been suspended because it sounds botty or something. But it was verified.
T800.
It is verified. And it was it was re-verified a few days ago.
Yes, I had to do that too. Yeah.
Yes, because they changed the picture. So they re-verified it
Is that right?
a few days ago. So I don't think that this is plausible.
Did you tweet out about needing someone's boots and motorcycle by any chance?
No, I want to say that at some point AOC was dancing on stage and she was saying that this was very fun, and I just said that twerking would be funnier.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's too spicy for some people, but I don't think that is. I think that the general thing is that there are some people maybe still into the organization that have the anti-woke mentality, they flew under the radar. And I want to give you just some examples as to why I may have been targeted.
Yes.
And people a lot, because everyone was asking, you were saying I publish philosophy stuff. My delivery is not spicy.
Yeah.
So I have some anti-woke takes like this one. I'm saying that people underestimate just how extremist wokeness can be, because there are some really bad tendencies within it.
Yeah.
So just
Absolutely.
in a nutshell, if people are saying that more and more people things count as hate speech on the one hand, and they also have the silence is violence mentality on the other, well, there's nothing but celebration.
Yeah.
So unless you celebrate something, as far as the woke is concerned, they can do anything against you because they can plead self-defense.
Yeah.
Anything they do against you, it's self-defense, because they will say that, well, you didn't speak about me, you didn't talk about me, you were silent, and silence is violence.
Yeah.
Or hate speech, harm, psychological harm is also physical harm. That was violence. So that was what went on. Now, another tweet that I think is very important, especially in late June 2024, I was tweeting something about the parties that call themselves center-right. I think the English Conservative Party is one of them. And I think that they have absolutely turned their back on people who have traditional conservative values.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. They have taken them for granted, and they wanted to expand leftwards. And they're full of visionless pragmatists and visionless administrators. And what happened is they tried to have it both ways. They tried to have a rhetoric that they thought appealed to people on the traditional right that was purely economic, and then they expanded towards the center with a different rhetoric that just regurgitates social democrat points. So what happened is that right now they're presenting a lot of people in the West a dilemma between slow and fast social democracy. So
this is not something, this is productive engagement in political discourse. This is not something that should be banned, right?
Yes, but I'm saying that this annoys people when you're exposing, you could say, woke people on.
When you're making a good argument against.
See, the issue is that before Twitter, before social media, you would have political parties discussing topics. And then the left said, no, deplatform. We won't speak to them. We won't do that. So you had nowhere to go. Twitter is that old-fashioned, I've got a view, argue with me.
Yeah.
And they don't want, now they're targeting that. And they've already captured Facebook. They've already
That's gone, yeah.
Yeah, they've already captured YouTube, I'm afraid. And now they're after Twitter. And we've got to preserve it, because the best antidote to anything vile is the oxygen of publicity.
Yes.
Shine that light on them.
That's what they don't want, doing it, because they're what's vile. And the publicity, they like to be on them. And that's what they don't want.
It functions basically like the separation of powers.
Yeah.
Because, if you have a state whose branches are distinct, you could say that they are creating obstacles in a system of checks and balances. So if we have only mainstream media, well, they're going to disintegrate. That's why we need all sources of information we can get. Yep. So last sentence before I got suspended was basically, and this is why censorship will sadly intensify in the next 5 years. I was talking to Captain Benjamin, who told me great points here in nice long post. Thank you, Captain. I told him we need to articulate a variety of clear and responsible visions and communicate them. Where the left sees structures that override agency, we must bring agency into the front. No other way. And this is why censorship will sadly intensify. And that is why I'm talking about the nanny state.
Yeah.
The left right now wants us to view ourselves as just members of groups. There is no individual responsibility, no individuality. Everyone is just someone who is a passive, malleable thing without responsibilities.
Yeah.
And two last things here. President Biden in June 19 said, "Today on Juneteenth, we celebrate all that is possible when we march forward together. May we all recommit to redeeming the very soul of America, choosing love over hate, unity over division, and progress over retreat." So woke people and people who are putting forward progressivism are repeatedly doing this. They are divisive. Wokeness is inherently divisive. All the narratives of social justice are inherently divisive.
Yeah.
And they preach hatred and a kind of multiculturalism that is justifying preferential treatment of some groups. So when people, I will say that when people put really matter-of-fact arguments about these notions and the delivery is not spicy, this is something that they really can't stand. And I stand by this claim.
Yeah, yeah.
I really hate the name Juneteenth. It's a really silly name.
Yes. And one last thing, because this is very important for people to know, when we are subjectivizing legislation and when laws are framed in irreducibly subjectivist phrases, like, for instance, when hate speech laws, they're irreducibly subjectivist. They're saying something is likely to cause harm.
Yeah.
That increases the arbitrary power of the state.
Yeah.
And they cannot call themselves progressive in any sense, in the actual sense of the term, because that's regressive.
Yeah.
It's going back to let's say, non-arbitrariness. Design of institutions. That's exactly, so that's the issue. I refuse to engage in public discussion where the terms are set by the left. That's why you see me sometimes very tense, because I'm really cautious about this. I don't want to talk as if the left is the supporter or the champion of liberty, reason, and popular government. I just won't.
But the issue is that even if you talked about love and flowers and trees and green and all sorts of things, because you are on the right, they will still find you and then report you.
Yeah.
Where our argument has always been, if you don't like what we say, turn over, switch off, go and listen to something else. They do not want at all any other voice.
Yeah.
They want just an echo chamber. And unfortunately, because most of the media is owned by certain people, the world narrative is now being changed as well. You know, we are lone voices in this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just to be clear, you still don't know actually why?
No. I'm back. I was reinstated, but no reason was given. And it would be nice if we had a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Because then you can think, right, okay, I'll be a little more careful about that. But because you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Hi, folks. Thanks for watching. You can watch the entire podcast, The Lotus Eaters, live at 1 p.m. only on lotuseats.com. And while you're there, you could sign up for £5 a month if you want to support us, help us keep the lights on, because of course we're demonetized on YouTube. And you can watch Dan Tubbs' amazing Brokenomics series, where he breaks down everything economic and various other things beside. It's excellent stuff, and we appreciate all the support. Thanks very much.